As the Senate continues to play political games with the coronavirus relief bill, President Trump took matters into his own hands and signed an executive order extending some of the benefits that the Senate's fighting about right now. In this week's video, we're going to be covering the returns and the news from last week, as well as going over the details of the executive order. And finally, we're going to discuss some of the concerns that we have with the commercial real estate sector moving forward.
The U.S. indexes had a great week last week off the backs of the July jobs report numbers. Now, the number of U.S. payrolls increased by 1.7 million in July versus 1.2 that was expected, so about 500,000 above the expectation. Also, the unemployment rate dropped from 11.1 to 10.2%, showing slowly but surely the U.S. economy is recovering. Now, last week, the Russell 2000 led the way, up 6%. Now down 6% for the year. The NASDAQ is still leading the way this year, up over 22% after being up about 2.5% last week. And the S&P 500 is also up about 2.5% and is now up just under 4% year to date. And lastly, the Dow Jones was up just under 4% at 3.8, now down 3.87 for the year and getting closer to break even. Foreign and emerging market stocks were both also positive last week, with foreign stocks up 2.5%, while emerging markets were up just under 1.5%. Now, foreign market stocks still down almost 10 at about 8.5%, while emerging markets are getting closer to break even, down only 2.2 now.
As I said at the beginning of the video, President Trump signed his executive order extending some of the coronavirus relief benefits. And there were four main things that he accomplished. One, he extended unemployment weekly benefits, but reduced it from $600 a week down to $400 a week. He continued the student loan repayment benefit, and now you don't have to repay your student loans until next year. Third, he made it so that employers do not have to pay the payroll tax for any employees making under $100,000. And lastly, he extended the moratorium on evictions. So essentially, if you are renting, your landlord cannot kick you out even though you haven't made your rent payments. And supposedly there is a plan coming out to help renters start making those payments. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is something that we're becoming very concerned about, and that is the commercial real estate sector. Not only do we have an eviction memorandum that is out there where you cannot be evicted if you haven't paid your rent, but also coronavirus has poked holes in the traditional business model of having a large office space and trying to grow that way, as many employees are still working from home. And surprisingly, it's actually working out for businesses. Now, when we're talking about commercial real estate, we're not talking about rental properties or apartment buildings. We're talking about large commercial properties like a mall or a retail area where you would go shopping. And lastly, office buildings. I think there's going to be a time in the near future where you start to see large office buildings become vacant, which would put a strain on the landlord, and also that would trickle down to the financial institutions that have backed these large commercial properties. So to say we're concerned about commercial real estate is really an understatement. And we could see a perfect storm that changes the face of commercial real estate as we know it. Now, coming up this week, don't be surprised if the Senate finally passes a coronavirus relief bill, because there's no way they're going to want President Trump to get all of the credit. Thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Facebook.